Hello class, so today we will be doing more on the theme of biogenesis and spontaneous generation. So we did Reddy's experiment and an overview of spontaneous generation and biogenesis in the previous video, and this video is solely created for Lazzaro Spallanzani's experiment. So let's go ahead and talk about who he was. So in the 1700s, another Italian scientist, Lazzaro Spallanzani, from 1729 to 1799, designed an experiment to test the hypothesis of spontaneous generation of microorganisms. So, again, in the 1700s and before then, the people thought that there was a vital force in the air and things could just spontaneously generate and just come from, random things. So, like, from the mud, fish could rise, or and whatnot. So, let's go ahead and begin. So, Lazzaro Spallanzani hypothesized that microorganisms formed not from the air, but from other microorganisms. He observed that microorganisms grew easily in food, such as the broth made from boiled meat. So, he reasoned that if he boiled broth in a flask, he would kill all the microorganisms in the broth on the inside of the flask and in the air of the flask. So, let's go ahead and begin. So, first, for his experimental group, let me go ahead and draw a line. So this would be my experimental control and experimental. So, okay. So he boiled the two flasks of broth. This is going to be my first flask. It's going to be my second flask. Whoops. So he boiled both of the flasks to try and take their microorganisms, to kill their microorganisms. And then, so here's the broth, it's boiled. Here's the broth, it's boiled, so it's steaming. And then, for the next step, it's a huge error, I'm sorry. For the next step, he opened the flask of this one, kept this flask open, and he also, however, for this flask, he kept the flask sealed, and he did this immediately. He did not wait like a minute, calmly, like, ooh, I have all the time in the world. He immediately sealed it so no microorganisms could start to form. And then after that, he let days pass for both, and he realized that the broth in the open flask was cloudy. It was cloudy, it was dark, it was dirty. You would not want to drink it. But in the closed flask, he realized that the broth was as good as new. It was not dark. It was perfect. So, that's basically his experiment. So, in a nutshell, he left one broth boiled. He boiled both broths. Just kidding. Then he let days. He left one flask open, one flask closed. He let days pass. The open flask was dirty, gross, disgusting. The closed flask was as good as new. It was clear. So that's his experiment in a nutshell. And I hope you learned more and hope you tune into my other videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.